Welcome back to the first episode podcast. We had 3 weeks between shows. I'm sure people were clawing at their faces, tearing their eyes out, abusing their wives and husbands. People probably adopted orphans from the pound, beat them, and just
what
returned
they had
them.
to do is they had to use all the fentanyl that's left in the country before it gets closed down. So it was kind of fortuitous.
It is. Rico, you're definitely not on your microphone.
Nah.
Great. Excellent.
Definitely not on your microphone. Definitely on fentanyl.
Yep.
Well, that's every week.
The fentanyl microphone is a very special demon.
Yeah, the
You
closer
lean
you
in.
get.
You tap on it, but it's just to break up a fentanyl rock. Does fentanyl come in rocks? It must, right? I think everything
I don't
comes in
know.
rocks.
I thought it comes in pill form, and that's why they say one pill can kill. And you go, well, who would
No.
take a fentanyl
It doesn't
pill? That's
come
silly.
in a pure form. It only comes in every other drug.
Well, yes, that's true. Michael Jackson drug. You know what? They should rename the drug that Michael Jackson died of, because it was like fentanyl with something, or was it straight fentanyl? It was like
No, he
FOMO
died
fentanyl.
That's
from
what he was taking. I thought it
polypropylene.
was just something to help him go. Well, I guess it would help you go to sleep.
No,
It
he got
cholesterol.
overdosed by the doctor who was.
I thought it was
dosing
like when
with
you get under anesthesia for a surgery.
yeah.
And he was doing
That's
that every
right.
night.
I thought it was
No,
called
it was
the
well, he was doing that, but he was
polyhooty-hoo.
also doing fentanyl.
Wow.
Fentanyl
You
didn't
have to do
exist
something
back
to
in the Michael
get through the
Jackson
day.
days. Fentanyl's a new thing, Brian. You're
You know
crazy.
who looks? You know who's the new Michael Jackson?
boners to bang children.
Have you
know
seen
what
you want me to bang
Have you guys
children
seen
or not?
Ariana Grande recently? Her interviews.
Not naked, which I'd
no.
like to.
No, I've
She
not.
used to be so hot. Look
Oh,
up
she's
her
gorgeous.
pictures on
No.
Wicked. Her
Hold on.
press release. It's like look,
Hollywood
you can beauty
exclusive.
yourself.
All
It's
right.
horrible. One of the most
Wicked.
tragic things this century.
Really?
Our insider
All I see
Hollywood
is all I see is her
reporter,
whispering
Rico.
to a really ugly chick. By the way,
Hold on.
the
Hold
main
on.
chick in Wicked is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
goddamn ugly and such an obnoxious person. This dumb piece of shit.
Is that Ariana
People
Grande?
edited it. I don't know if you heard this story. In Wicked,
All right,
it's
go
like a
next.
black actress that they painted green, obviously. But
Good.
in the original
It's called a
Wicked,
black dress.
a black dress. Well, she's green now, so she's like, which is funny because somebody took her nose and put a Raphael face mask on it, and it looks exactly like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Oh,
But-
so basically they just ripped off the Ninja Turtles.
Yes, but in the original Wicked poster, the Wicked Witch has her eyes covered, and this dumb bitch actress that's playing the witch in this movie got so upset by somebody online just randomly editing her poster, which had her eyes, to make it look like the Broadway poster. She was like, how dare you? How dare you do this racist thing to take away my eyes? My eyes are my spirit. My eyes are my vision. And even like
Yikes.
Ariana Grande, who's in the movie with her, was like, why don't you fucking chill the fuck out? Like, it
Yeah,
was
calm down.
insane. Like, what kind of a psycho? Like, if anything, it helps you. They're comparing you to the original movie poster. I'm
Yeah.
sure they were gonna do that, by the way, until this asshole was like, my eyes have to be in it or it's racist. It's like,
You
what
know-
the fuck is wrong with you?
Movie posters are something that like they give the basic graphic designer, like level 1 graphic designer, here, do the movie that's crappy.
Oh, well,
That's why they all look the same. It's like shark coming at woman.
Old
Ah.
school movie posters used to be awesome.
yeah,
Exactly.
we need to get back to where they
It's a-
drew them in like colored pencil.
Yeah,
Remember, all the old school
that's
movie
why they're
posters used to be
cool.
like paintings. They were awesome paintings, or like even
Well,
like Star Wars and
right.
Jaws. They're all like colored pencil. Like, get back to that.
Mhm.
I don't need to see this chick in photo real. I don't need to see this asshole actress in photo real imagery. Give me a
Exactly.
cool movie poster that I could get
It's
behind.
something that every art and graphic designer grows up knowing, which is movie posters. And
Yeah.
so there's a certain style to them. So everybody can do it. And so for somebody to just be a, unknown artist that goes, oh, I'm going to redo the movie poster in kind of a retro way, it would be badass. And
Well,
then
hold
they
on, let me
take it
see.
personally, which is
This
so
is-
If you're
This
looking
is
at
the-
that link.
Would
Scroll
Mark
down to-
Hamill would never take it personally if he was in the Star Wars movie and then they did a
Mark Hamill takes
poster.
everything personally.
Mark Hamill may be one of the most psychotically retarded pieces of shit that's ever lived.
Well,
I'm glad
I'm glad I
his
brought
face
it up.
I'm glad his face was mauled by the ice monster Wink. Are we watching? I can't play the trailer for Wicked because then
No, I
YouTube
don't.
is-
I'm just
will
telling you to
block our
scroll down to
content.
look at the pictures of Ariana Grande. It
In
got
this-
crazy. She's
All right, let me
Yeah.
look at the pictures of
I don't
her.
know, yeah.
terrible. Look
Yeah,
at and
this is-
there's
this is
one
a-
where she's
It's a first
Oh,
episode
oh
first.
boy. Hold on. Let me share that. That's grotesque. What? Oh, why? I didn't realize how unbelievably gorgeous Ariana Grande was because I didn't
Yeah.
watch the show she was on because I'm not a pedophile. Wow. She
thought-
ruined her.
I didn't know she
ruined
was on a
herself.
show. What show was she on?
I thought she was a
The
singer.
Sweet Life of Cat. No, Cat and something.
Oh, of
Something in
Cody, like those kids from
Cat? No, not the
Disney?
Sweet Life of Cody. That was the kid who got molested.
Oh.
They all got
Oh,
molested
man.
somewhere in Nickelodeon. No, it was
It's a rough
Cat,
life.
Salmon Cat.
Oh yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah,
what
she
that-
ruined herself. I don't know if she Meg Ryan level ruined herself, but wow, she ruined herself. Why would
Yeah, it's
Why
one
would
of
she
the
do
bigger
that?
tragedies. I mean, I hope Trump does something about this. He has some kind of executive order preventing really, really hot women from.
No, hot
Doing whatever
chicks
she did
can
to
get
herself.
Terrible surgery. I will
I'd like to
have
put myself
a,
forward as the head
an office
of the
hot
department, the
chicks.
department against hot chick surgery massacres.
The first thing
Can
we're
I
gonna
head that
do,
department up?
we're gonna outlaw breast reduction surgery. It's a
They
crime.
can have the reduction surgery, but it has to be done tactfully. I'm more worried about this, like face. Just God, she was
Yeah,
gorgeous.
She's like a
she doesn't
young.
even look like
she's
herself.
younger than
she doesn't
me,
even
but
look
she
like
looks-
herself. It looks like she got jaw implants, like bone implants in her jaw.
Listen,
She had like a
you-
perfect little oval face, like I do. My perfect
Hey.
oval face.
oval face.
I'll never-
It's every
Ariana
celebrity's
Grande's
dream.
name.
Look at this. Look at this oval, buddy. I look like if
Yeah.
you bought one of the Magno things, you can put drag like the little magnetic shavings on. That's my head. A perfect, beautiful
When
egg,
I
elongated
always kind of
egg.
think of my face as like a thumb with hair on it.
That's
I-
exactly. Wow,
I would
you nailed
agree.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not. It's
I
not
think of your
great.
asshole the same
Yeah.
way, but a thumb
You're
with
like-
hair
There's
in
no
it.
hair.
you're like a Lego.
Oh, you're smooth like a dolphin.
Yeah, of
It's a
course.
blowhole, really, more than
and
an
it's
asshole.
and it's dyed also.
Purple.
Bleached. Bleached.
The
Bleached, but then re-dyed.
that
I
dyed
bleached-
black. It was weird.
I bleached my asshole, but then I dyed it brown again.
yeah, it's very trendy.
I didn't like the
though,
natural brown. I wanted.
I wanted a redwood.
The younger people now want the affirming care, right? They want to be plastic surgeried.
I
And
don't think the young
so-
people know what they want. I think that they were just
Well,
pushed
yeah.
into having gender reassignment surgery by their horrible parents and government.
Ariana Grande goes, I got a lot of money. She goes, I need to look like Joan Rivers. No.
Ugh, yeah. Can you
Right
make me look like
now.
an old Joan Rivers, but now at 24?
Exactly. Because I'm going to be there in 80. So you might as well just start putting the foundation.
Smooth the transition.
Yeah.
By the way,
it's like,
look at the
it's like
fucking gender non-binary jerk-offs in the rest of this cast. Every
It's
single
like every-
person
it's
is
so-
indiscriminate gender. Everyone.
I like it. I like it. I tell you
This
why.
fat
This is-
Latina with short red hair.
Yeah.
This
No
weird
idea.
guy in the corner. This woman,
Yeah.
question mark, with bangs, whatever to the right. This chick. This dude who's clearly making super gay face.
This
This
is the-
this weird woman with tiny bangs. Like everybody in this
Yeah.
photo, you could not. If you go up to any single one of them and go Miss or
Right.
Mister, they will definitely get offended.
They go, I need to have
What
a
an
man's
asshole
body.
cast.
A man's body, but an effeminate look. I'm a girl body, but you can't tell that I'm a boy.
And look,
This is the cliche of our time right now. I where would you start this and end it? Let's say we start.
I'd start with
this in
Ariana Grande's face, and
2012
I'd end with
is-
her butt.
No, but what year was this becoming like the fun thing to do? Would be
Oh,
androgynous
2014. I think it's culminated
Okay,
in 2024.
14.
But now it's going back the other way. But these jerk offs started
Yeah.
making this movie 4 years ago. That's what's
Right.
terrifying. Think about this. They
4 years
basically
ago, they're like,
started
"This
movie
is
4
the
years ago.
ideal."
Is that a
Yeah, 4 years ago,
statement?
they were like all these trans and weird non-binary people. And look, if you want to be a non-binary trans, I don't give a shit. None of us do. But stop pushing on everybody and stop pushing every single cast member in a movie has to be non-binary trans, as with the people behind Ariana. But you think about this. They started filming this movie 4 years ago, and she already looked like this freak of nature because she over-surgeried herself. How fucked is that? What does she look like today? I got to look up Ariana Grande 2024 because this is 2020.
Well,
We need a
that looks like
side
how
by
she looks
side.
today, at least from
This
the.
could be an exclusive episode where we don't even cover the show. We just cover this.
Ariana
Oh.
Grande before and after.
You want to see? Actually, she actually looks better, although she looks like she's dying. Ready? I'll share the
I like
new
She looks better, but she's dying. That's
well, she
everyone's
looks like
dream.
she is dying, but she looks better than that picture. Here's her here's her super
That's
skinny.
better.
Well,
Oh,
I
no.
mean,
She
she doesn't
turned
look
into a plant.
freakishly she doesn't look
Get outta
freakishly
here.
over surgery. Like I feel like she
Like
lost the surgery. Like maybe she
character
stopped
and-
getting injections.
she's like Gollum, like 1 year before he fully became Smeagol or whatever it is.
My precious. She wraps your dick around her finger and she's like, am I invisible? You're like, nope. You're
This is
very
the trend now.
still very
It's like
visible.
minimalist human. I don't use shampoo.
I mean, she is
And I'm
4 foot
trashed.
flat. But yeah, look, well, I'm saying she looks better in that she actually looks like herself. Like her injections that made her jaw huge and the human growth hormone she was on from Sylvester Stallone wore off. Now she just looks like she's dying.
I mean,
it's like when you stop giving a plant fertilizer, it withers. She's withering.
she needs
Bill
another
Withers,
person.
A lovely day.
They tell
Oh,
her
yeah.
on airplanes she doesn't weigh enough. They need another person to sit in her
Hey,
seat. And
we're
sit
gonna
on top.
wedge you into
Yeah.
a big fat person. Is
Plank
that
of
okay?
grass.
The plane will
Plank
be
of
off
grass.
balance if you're on the left. I mean, what
We
can
don't
we do?
want that. We got to put you on the right.
Okay, so wait, going back to what we were originally talking about, movie posters. Let me ask you, do you think the franchise, which is the first movie we're going to talk about, we're talking about stupid ass Mark Hamill, and we're talking about superheroes. So we watched the franchise on HBO.
We did.
Do you think that this was a hand-drawn poster?
No, I think it was maybe AI'd, but I think you could just. I
Because
think
like sometimes it's hard to tell that this one
Yeah.
looks like it. They made it look like it was drawn, but clearly it was a photo. I think that was like
yeah.
Photoshopped.
But and they also went for that classic, like we were talking about, the cliche action poster where it's the apex, right? It's the triangular scene, and so they went for that. But I don't think they have to make any art anymore. I think the AI generates it just based on all the photography that they uploaded.
It is great. It is
Yeah,
great.
and they just
I do
tell
like
it,
the- I like
make
the
it
AI
into that
image
one.
generation. It makes life
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, me too.
Well, all right. Well, let's get into the franchise.
Somehow
Guys,
I'm
we've-
now
15 minutes
I'm,
we've talked.
I'm
without getting to
uglier
the show.
though. I tell AI make me look good, and it doesn't. I look I'm more hideous because of AI. It's not a thing.
That makes sense.
Doesn't
I
make you
mean-
look good. I don't know how to utilize that part of it yet.
It's
And-
hard
and-
being the third
yeah.
best looking person on the first episode podcast, but
Yeah,
can you
let
do?
me tell you. What can you
a
do?
few episodes. If you guys watch it, it's like anything. Sometimes, like with The Office, Don's hoping, like with The Office, like Michael Scott looks like shit early on, and then as the seasons progress, Michael Scott gets better looking, and the rest of the cast gets worse looking. So maybe that'll happen with us here.
Right.
Except
right.
for John Krasinski is the most attractive man in the world now, apparently.
There, right.
I don't get that. Whatever, he could bulk. I never thought he was that good looking to begin with. He's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
he
think I'm
gives
better
hope
looking than John
to all of
Krasinski,
us.
to be perfectly fucking honest.
Well, that means you're just as sexy as the sexiest man, and I would agree to that.
Thank you.
That's on his business card. Actually,
Sexy as John Krasinski.
have been told as sexy as John Krasinski.
He meant my business card, which says I would agree with that.
I mean, I'm John Krasinski without the hair and doofus face. But what do you want,
Yeah.
ladies?
I guess you know what? You only got one of the two.
Oh, also without the money and fame
Yep.
Yeah, one of the four.
and success.
One of the five.
let's get into the show proper because it's now 15 minutes in and we've been
All right,
bullshitting.
I just have a predict.
Sounds
My
good,
thought
Doofus face.
watching the franchise is I'm going to be ridiculed for my opinion.
All right, hit me.
I
Okay.
didn't like it, and I'm waiting for Brian to tell me how brilliant it is. That it was an
No,
inside.
no.
I thought-
You're
I
wrong
thought
about Peep
you
Show.
liked
You're wrong
Hollywood.
about Peep Show, and you still are wrong about Peep Show. And by the way, did you notice? You don't even know this. There's a thread connecting Peep Show and Flight of the Conchords, which I'll fill you in when we talk about that show.
You
And it
are
happens to
way
be a
too
very
much.
hot thread.
Okay. Well, so I'm wrong about this.
You're,
I don't.
like most things, counselor. Yes.
Let me. Yeah, exactly.
Little
Hold
hot.
on. Let me give a rundown of the show first before we get into it. So the franchise, the show on HBO, which lampoons the superhero filmmaking franchise and process, and it takes place in a movie studio / set. It's got an ethnic cast, which is no problem with. I'm just saying it's an ethnic cast, and
Because they're British.
and it's a comedy. Well, it's all over the map, but it's lampooning creating a superhero movie. So that's the premise. Now let me bring up a cast list real quick so I can talk about it. But all right, so getting into it, you enter the scene. It's a spin-off movie about this character. What was his name? Like Techno or Techro or something.
Tico.
Tecto.
Cast the franchise.
Tecto. I think Rico.
Tech. It's this dork who can make earthquakes, but it's intentionally nerdy. It's intentionally super stupid and
I think his name
dorky.
is. Yeah, it's like Rico, but Tecto.
Well, what's annoying is I looked up the cast list. I'm like, what's his name? And it's like, oh, Billy Magnuson plays Adam. And I'm like, that's not fucking helpful to me. What's the name of his goddamn character in the movie?
Wait, sidebar. Have you ever noticed looking up stuff sucks? You just look it up and it's the opposite of what you want.
Yes, constantly the opposite of what I actually want to find.
All right, back to what you were saying.
So back to what we're saying. So Himesh Patel, who I've seen in some other films, is Daniel, who's kind of the main protagonist. He's definitely the most likable character in the show. He's actually, I think, the only character I like in the show.
He's
other
the
than
director,
the
right?
asshole producer. Yeah.
I like the
he's
director.
the assistant director. Well, the director's okay. That's Emil Hirsch, who's very well known.
Well, we're talking about the Indian.
Or no, sorry, Daniel Bruhl. Sorry, not Emil Hirsch. Daniel Bruhl, who was in like that.
Emil Hirsch.
No, sorry. Emil Hirsch is canceled.
Yes.
Canceled.
Yeah. You have the creator of the show who's also a director, and then the director of the show of the production who works for the production company.
Yeah. So you've got this
Which is something
assistant director.
Yeah. Right,
Daniel, who's very likable. He's kind of handling everything. You've got Daniel Bruhl, who was in a great movie with what was it, Ford versus Ferrari, I think, which is a fantastic racing film he was in as the German. He's the main director who's got this genius who doesn't know what he's doing, is in over his head. Then you've got Dork, guy that plays the main character with insecurity issues. You've got other guy who you've seen, Richard E. Grant, who you've seen in a million things as the Eye, who's like the main antagonist, but he's a super arrogant douche who's been through it all. You've got a guy in a turtle shell who this weird woman wants to bang for whatever reason. And then you've got this guy, Darren, and I think he's in this episode. I watched like 6 episodes of it. This guy that comes in who's like the producer they call in to write the ship. Was he in the first episode, or am I getting this fucked up? He's a huge douchebag that comes in.
Yeah, they call him the something Shannon is his name.
Yeah. Pat Shannon.
Yeah.
Yes, so he's in it. He's my second favorite character. So the assistant director Daniel is fun. He puts out the fires and he's sarcastic and likable. And then this other guy, Pat Shannon, is the studio's man that comes in to right the ship when productions have gone wrong. And he's a huge asshole who I greatly appreciate. Everybody else on the show is fucking annoying as shit, especially the fat black chick.
I can imagine you own a production company, you give a bunch of money to some nerds to make a movie. You gotta have somebody to make sure that the nerds are doing stuff, and that's that Shannon guy who goes there and make sure it's all going to well. And then they have firing power, which makes them do their job. Because the nerds just want to hang out and, talk about their craft and all that silly stuff.
Yeah. So Rico,
Well,
tell us, why
yeah.
do you not like it? Why do you hate
I
it?
didn't find it interesting. I'm like, this show is made for a bunch of insiders in Hollywood and people who work on shows. And I can relate to that character. I can relate to this situation. I don't
Also,
care.
people like me who think, oh, this is what it's like to be on the show.
Yeah, and then you go like, oh, this
That's what I
actor
think.
has it's high maintenance. He has a lot of stupid complaints. This actor has panic attacks. Why are you yelling so loud? Like,
Rico,
okay,
yes.
I was
Yes to that. One of the things that annoys the shit of me, like this show, I enjoyed it, but got sick of it fairly quickly because of what you're saying. Like, it is a show made for insiders or people that want to be insiders of Hollywood. I enjoyed the lampooning, right, of the superhero franchise creation process. That is kind of funny, especially like later on they bring in Nick Kroll as like the gurgler, and he's just a huge asshole that spits crap. And Nick Kroll is hilarious in general, but like you're saying, the show lampoons actors and their foibles, and actors love nothing more than making fun of themselves because it's still an exercise in them jerking themselves off about acting and the acting process. And extreme actors and picky actors and sensitive actors, it's all a jerk off fest. It's a fucking massive jerk off fest. And like I said, I watched like 6 episodes and I was like, all right, because they're only like half an hour long. And I was like,
That's a
okay,
lot.
I'm over the show. I don't know where this is going to go, and I don't really give a shit where it's going to go. I'm over it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like about a show, an industry that loves itself so much that it wants to pretend to make fun of itself, but then we're supposed to watch it and like that they're making fun of themselves, even though they're making fun of us for liking what they like, and it's just terrible.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
it
a
is.
roast. It's
It
like
is
a
really
Hollywood
bad.
roast, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Hollywood roast. A Hollywood roast on its surface, hey, look, they can be very funny, right? But it's still an exercise in masturbation and feeding, the industry. A Hollywood roast is still making fun of somebody that's unbelievably successful. And that's what this still was, is as shitty and fucked up as the industries has been, they're not taking any shots. Well, actually, they did one episode. We didn't get to it in the first episode about feminism, which is kind of funny, taking shots at like the woke crap. But they haven't done any shots at diversity or DEI. They said that like they needed more women. He's like, we got a women problem. And Pat, like I said, this producer that's one of my favorite characters in the show, he's like, we got a problem. Women are bitching because they don't think we like women. We have a women problem. And they bring in a female producer in like episode 2. And he's like, all right, so you're going to fix that up for me, sugar tits? He's like, I'm obviously kidding. I would never say that. And then he walks out of the room. Hilarious. But again, it doesn't really take on any of the crap that the problem is, which is DEI bullshit and shitty writers and fucking kowtowing to the woke mob. It's just jerking off.
Yeah, that's what is sad about all these shows now. They're all just checking a box. Doesn't matter what the content is, but as long as they've got, a black or brown person, and then you got to have a person in a wheelchair, and then some other boxes checked.
Yeah.
Shows are weird now. They're not the same.
Well, this show had the checkbox of this black British chick who's like, I don't know, second AD, assistant director. She's so annoying.
Is she supposed to be funny in the show? Like, what is her role?
Yes. I think she's supposed to be funny and quirky and cute, but she just comes across as obnoxious. And why would anyone have her on set if she wasn't a DEI hire?
Yeah.
She's
I think
incompetent and obnoxious. Fucking
the whole
fire
premise,
her.
The whole idea of her is you're introduced to the set when she's introduced to the set as a new hire, probably because of that. because they just hired her because she has no purpose on there. She just shows up and they're like, oh, you're the new person.
Yeah, she literally repeats
Yeah.
what the assistant director David said.
Yeah. So
And
And
that
then
must
fuck
be-
shit up.
That must be a quirky thing in production that the
Yeah.
insider's like, oh, I know that person. That's Meg. She never
Now
Yeah.
we know.
shuts
Rico,
up.
now we
and-
know. What next time you and I and maybe Don are at Universal Studios together doing the studio tour, somebody will
Maybe
say something and we'll repeat it and go,
I'll be hanging out at Harry Potter.
oh, Harry Potter Land? Oh, absolutely. Drinking the pear vodka drinks?
All day. All fucking day.
yep. Hey, Warner Brothers
You should
coming
come
at
out
you.
late January for my daughter's birthday. Come drink with us in Harry Potter Land. We go on the Monday after my daughter's birthday.
Well, why not? How could I pass
Yeah.
that?
In Harry Potter Land, when she walks in there, she's 25. She can drink, and then she leaves, and she's
Yeah, I'll give her the
back to
magic.
being a
I still have the
kid.
magic wand. I should mail it to you so you don't have to spend $50.
Oh, we already have one, but you know what? Vale can use it. If Jordan's over it, you should bring it with you.
Jordan, are you done with your Harry Potter magic wand?
No.
He said no, actually.
I knew he was
like-
going to say no.
Quit
I knew
talking
it.
about my wiener.
He has fond
man.
memories. He has fond memories of me telling him to sack up on the Jurassic Park ride.
Oh man, no, keep those, man. Those are
Shaking him.
collectibles. Those
Shaking,
make some money on
shaking
eBay.
Rico's child on the Jurassic Park ride. Tell him to man up.
Yeah.
Um,
Growing up.
it's funny growing
Yeah.
up.
So the
One-
one
the Wonder Years.
character, I only watched one episode because I didn't like it at all. So her name is, I think her actress name is Aya Cash. She was on a show. She's on that superhero show on Amazon now.
Yeah,
Boys.
she was the super racist Nazi superhero chick.
And she was in this other show
I had
I
to Google
watched
where
like
she
10
was
years ago.
from. Yeah, from The Boys. She was from.
But she was in a show before that too. That was funny and
Oh,
super hot. It's called You're the Worst on FX. It's way over, but I
Oh,
recommend watching it. It's about a couple degenerates, so it's right up your alley.
Nice.
well,
Now,
I
Brian,
would
you
say we
brought
could
up-
review The Boys, which is
I was
she
gonna-
was
yeah.
front on The Boys. She is hot, but
You did bring up.
I got
this
so
seems
mad
like,
at The Boys the last season because it sucked shit and got super woke and anti-Trump garbage lefty.
the boys
Unwatchable.
show before it got so insulting to Brian. It did seem
No,
like
no,
this was.
trust me. To anybody, it was ridiculous. Because like I don't give a shit. You could like it was perfect. I'll do a quick Boys review. The Boys was perfect because it lampooned corporate government crossover and interests and how if the government controlled superheroes, how it would get poisoned and tainted and turned against the people and used for military industrial complex. It was a brilliant show and it was hilarious. Then Eric Kripke apparently went full fucking TDS retardation and just made it all anti-Trump shit. And I was like, I can't watch this fucking crap. I didn't even vote for fucking Trump. I can't watch this fucking crap. It's fucking obnoxious leftist, propaganda. It was awful.
Yeah.
Ruined the show.
Well,
Ruined the
let's
fucking
hope.
show.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Well, I didn't watch
we're-
the last season, so I guess. I
Well,
don't need to-
good, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would have
that's
been
right.
very angry.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Anyways, what was her role in the show? It seemed like she maybe had a thing with the director before, but then
Yeah,
she's like gonna
They
bang the
used to
new
date.
producer.
They used to date, and then she banged, I think, a star, like a celebrity, after a relationship they had, and then he's not over it.
She's very hot, so
I would say very hot. She's
well, she used to be very hot. She's kind of hit her plateau, but she used to be very hot. So maybe he's remembering her when she used to be very hot.
yeah.
That's what
the best
everybody
thing-
does.
That's the best thing to do when you're in a long-term relationship. if we're being
Remember
honest.
when the person was super hot?
Yeah.
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 That's that's really
Yeah,
that's
why
what
wouldn't
Close your eyes and think real hard.
We do that about ourselves.
Some of us don't need to.
Oh, yeah.
I've been
well,
gone
yeah.
for 25 years. I don't
And
need
you're
to
looking
remember.
better with age, like a fine
I think
wine.
exactly.
A fine Irish wine.
More attractive now. Even more.
Oh,
I
attractive.
could grow a beard.
You know, I couldn't grow. You can't grow a beard, Rico. You fuck.
I could if I had enough time.
Yeah, and growth hormone. and spray
Well,
on.
let's take a 2-year
Let's-
hiatus.
Spray on.
I
hair.
won't shave my normal once a week, and we'll see.
You
how we do.
know, Rico's ability to grow a beard has nothing to do with Rico. Those are things that were traded to him by his ancestors.
RFK is going to solve that. Rico can't grow a beard because of seed oils and because of corn syrup. We all know that's a fact.
RFK
Now,
would love
Brian, you have just as many seed oils and just as much corn syrup as he does. Don't lie.
I've got a lot of seed oil I can put on Rico's face, if you know what I mean. You want me to get that beard growing, Rico? I got some seed oil for you.
Oh,
I don't take
talk
your
about
money.
a beard.
Yeah, you gotta work in with a laser comb though.
Okay.
Oh, gross.
All
All right,
Oh,
what do you give the
shit.
franchise? Anything else to say about it? It was. I don't hate it as much as Rico. I give it a C plus.
Yeah.
It's a D for
What do
me.
you say?
I wasn't
D.
entertained. I actually had to watch. So the first time I watched it was like last week because I thought we were going to do the show last week, and I was spaced out because I was so bored, and it was over. Ugh. So I didn't really remember too much. So then I had to watch like the first half again today,
Yeah.
and I was bored again, and still didn't find any joy in watching the show.
Yeah.
The joy in Mudville.
Yeah, I'll give it a C minus. No joy. Watched it. Was excited to find out it ended. I go, oh, it's only a 30-minute show instead
That's
of
exciting.
an hour show. When that happened, I go, well, that's because you don't like it. So I realized.
Yeah.
And then the only funny time I thought the show when it happened is when they were asking the one character to say some curse words before he had to talk to the other characters, but it wasn't even that good. Brian doesn't even remember because he's watched
I didn't
6
remember that.
episodes.
Say some curse.
Yeah, so they I actually wrote them down. You want to hear them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Good job, Don.
I wrote my
Alright.
curse.
I wrote them down.
You got a
So
notebook.
I'm trying to
So
think Don's
there's
just making this up completely.
No.
That's actually happening.
So there's the character, right? That's the actual guy that was in the Marvel movies, that German character, who's I think he's supposed to be the guy who's the writer of the franchise, but so he's not really the director, but he's on set because he's kind of like the creative director, if you will.
Okay.
And so remember the one girl goes, hey, do you want to get out some curse words before you go talk to these
Okay.
people? And he says, yeah. And he says something like, shitwit cock tangled money fascist. That's one of them. And then the other one is, so I wrote these down. I thought they were funny. Fuck clump cosmic anus human handle prick. And then, and then after that, he says granny fucker.
All right, I like it.
And then the other note I have is it was kind of funny that the guy's eyes got burnt. That was kind of funny. In the
Yeah.
first episode.
That was
Yeah. Yeah, right. You know, okay, I could see that going wrong, right? Oh, you burnt.
And then the
Robert
other
Downey.
guy gets his eyes burned, and they're arguing about who has worse burned eyes. and they both
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
that.
That's where you're like, oh, this show sucks. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
it could have been better. That's when I stopped writing stuff down, obviously. But I guess fuck chump cosmic anus human handle prick. I wrote that down. That was funny. So,
That is funny. All right.
but
well,
I still give it a C minus because it is pretty dumb.
Agreed. Moving on. Let's move on to our older show, The Flight of the Conchords. Conchords with the CH, Flight of the Conchords, a show from New Zealand and dropped on HBO. God damn it. It was so long ago. Rico, was it 2004, 2005?
2007 and 8, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was when you
Yeah, it was 2007. It was right when I moved there.
Yeah, you lived in the colonial apartments in Venice, where we almost killed somebody with a couch that somehow didn't fall off the balcony when we moved
It
it
was a
in.
great place.
It was amazing. It had a pool, it had a screaming baby 24 hours a day, but it was also $1,200, single bedroom, right off Venice Boulevard, 2 miles, not even a mile and a half from the beach. Hot tub, the cockroaches, well, palmetto bugs would congregate around, but who cares? It was amazing.
I know. Those were the days.
And an absentee apartment manager who you could do whatever the hell you wanted.
Yep. was amazing. Oh, well,
Like,
it
were
was-
you
yeah.
drinking bottles in the pool this weekend? No, I
Nope.
don't know
Okay.
why someone would say that.
Okay.
That's not my
Heard
jizz
rumor.
in the pool.
Oh, there was already jizz in the pool. The pool was mostly jizz. It was like when you go to like those the salt lakes where you could float without any real effort because there's so much salt in it. That was our pool. Except it was just
Jizz legs.
Welcome to
Nice.
Jizz Springs.
Right. You're right. It's like
All
the
right, so-
Dead Sea, but it was the Jizz Sea.
Jizz Sea.
Nothing can live in this sea.
The
of
Jizz
jizz.
Sea men. So,
Yes.
Flight of the Conchords.
Swat away. Get out of here,
This
you
show.
crazy hose.
You have to explain the name to me because I never understood.
The name. That's just the name of their band, Flight of the Conchords. Well, I don't know. The Concorde was a intercontinental.
Yeah, I know the Concorde, the famous like jet.
Yeah.
Super jet.
So that's it's a play. It's a
The-
pun. It's a play on words. But
the
Concord,
famous
like guitar
engineering
chords,
of
dumbo.
aviation.
Why do I have to
yes.
explain this to you? Are you serious?
I never noticed the spelling of the name.
Are you fucking
Well,
serious?
Perhaps they are the Flight of the Concorde from New Zealand.
Well,
Where's the
Concords without
where's
the
the
with
flight
a
coming
ch because they're a band
The
that plays
flight.
guitars.
Well, yes, that's the Flight of the Concords.
Anyway,
they are going to be the
moving
most
on.
epic band from New Zealand.
New Zealand. So these New Zealanders moved to New York. Jermaine and Britt.
Brit.
I always thought it was
He's
Brett, but it's Britt.
Brit.
I think
He's
maybe
the
it is
small
Brett. No,
one.
it is Brett. Brett.
It's
He's the
Brit.
small one.
Brit.
Who was also in Lord of the Rings as one of the elves, which makes
What?
sense because he's a tiny. Yes. Yep. Look for him.
Which
So he
elf
has
was
Lord of the
he?
Rings money, and he still did this show.
Well, that was after the show.
That would
This
have been
show
after.
was amazing. This show made
This show's
this show
old.
did careers, Rico. Do you realize?
Yeah.
This
It's a good show.
Jermaine Clement became a superstar. Brett actually got He got the low end of the totem pole. Kristen Shaw, our buddy Dan's ex-girlfriend.
Which is amazing.
Amazing.
Is she the one? Is she the fan base?
Yes, and
Wait
let's
a
be
minute,
honest, I don't
wait a
want to
minute,
crap.
wait a
I don't want to
minute.
crap. I met. Let me finish my story.
Your
she
friend
is the super
dated
fan.
her?
My good friend
Don't you
dated
know
her.
him?
I met her. You know Dan M. Oni.
Can we get her autograph?
I don't want it.
I want it.
So I met her briefly in New York City because when they were dating, I went there. They did an improv show,
Wow.
and I'll
He's
give
so
I'll give our
cool.
buddy Dan credit.
Dan Mahoney dated her?
Well, now you outed him. Yes, they dated, which is shocking because look, I don't want to crap on Dan. But
Our
she is
11.
highly unattractive. Oh
She's-
boy, is she unattractive.
Who's the judge? Who's the judge?
But she must have it.
She's
She's got it.
hilarious.
She's funny.
Yes,
I think her voice is half it. But I watched an improv show they did, and Dan did a great
You mean
sketch where he
her
sat in
and,
the chair.
Dan
I'm telling
M.
a story, Don.
Mm.
He sat in a chair and played It's the End of the World as We Know It, but he sat in the chair as Leonard Bernstein. So he sits in the chair, the End of the World as We Know It song plays, and then during the part where it goes, Leonard Bernstein, he just goes, yeah. That was it. That was the whole sketch.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
Oh, no wonder he wasn't on the show.
Ah, shut up. So it launched Kristen Shaw, who then went on to be in, she plays Mel, the super fan of the show. It launched her. She went on to be
like
the voice of Louise in the
Toy Story.
Bob's Burgers cartoon.
Oh, wasn't she in Toy Story?
Probably.
That
She's
Bob-
such
I
a-
bet
she has
she's
such
got-
a fucking bizarre voice. She's in a bunch
Yeah.
of shit because her voice is so bizarre. Can you imagine getting a blowjob from that? I'm gonna make you come. Does that feel good? Horrible.
Oh man, I'm there.
No, we'll
man,
have
you
to
just
ask the
gave-
person we know.
You just
That's
gave
how it
me a
was.
boner for the first time in.
You know what would be sexy? Put it in my ass. Ah!
I mean,
No.
listen, it depends. Have you been drinking together? Are you hanging
Well,
out?
look,
Is there a flirty thing going
she
on? And she
plays the
starts saying a
character of the
voice?
creepy stalker on the show for a reason that they are so terrified and off put by and so unattracted by. I'll just leave it at that.
Is it weird
So
that I'm
she-
like, I would be totally into that? That's the whole reason
Yes,
I'd
it
be
is.
in a
Well,
in
I
a
think-
band was for those chicks.
Well, it is funny. Not that she's that person of the crazy stalker in real life, but it is funny as it's gonna be funny as our buddy who's as Kristen Schall's ex to see her play this repulsive thing on a show. Like, we need to cast a girl who's really off-puttingly repulsive and bizarre. And like, oh good, they cast my ex.
Well, she was
Disagree.
also in the show. Some guy from Saturday Night Live. I forgot. The premise of the show is like he was the last man on Earth.
Oh yeah.
And
They
then,
sold that premise out immediately.
His luck is he finds her and she's the only woman on Earth, and he's like,
Can you imagine?
She did find a niche like as the least attractive chick to be
Yeah.
cast for
Oh,
stuff.
she's got that niche down.
And
Absolutely
there's
down.
like, oh, we need this girl. There's a casting call. There's probably like 500 chicks that are like, oh, it's my turn. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
She
a
won.
homely broad who's gonna.
I'm a home
get-
with a bizarre voice.
Yeah.
She wins. Her
But
voice
God
is so
bless
bizarre
her.
because
She
there's
made
so
it.
much work.
She made it.
Because there's so
Right?
much
Good for
work.
her.
Well, if I was the last man on Earth in that show with Kristen Schaal, I think I would have chopped her in half, found a giant tuna top, and put it on top of her body, and just pretend I found a mermaid. No, but it.
"Well, that seems psychotic." But
Actually, that's not. I
you
mean,
do you
I-
in your
I'm the
world.
last man on Earth, man. You got to find
In your
solace where you can.
post-apocalyptic world, you rule the roost.
I'd
That's
be
right,
into that
goddamn right.
fantasy, but I can't get boners in water.
Have you tried hard?
That seems
No, I,
like a problem.
That seems like
have
a
you
challenge.
tried hard?
Are you
No,
coming? Are you coming
no,
to
I'm just-
Vegas, Don? Are you coming to Vegas, Don? January 20th or February 20th?
Oh shit! I think I might have had the dates mixed up.
Is this
Okay,
because you
so
can't get a
I'll-
boner in water?
Are you, no,
Don't
I
worry,
think
the
it's
pools
'cause-
are closed in the winter. So
I
Yeah,
think
I know
I
what
think
you
I booked January 20th and February 20th. I have to check.
Oh, you booked those both out? Just coincidentally, you just happened to book both those dates
well,
out?
I happen to
Funny.
know February 20th is not a weekend, so I guess you probably got cheap rates.
Yeah, interesting. March 20th?
Cheap rates. That's the name of my other podcast.
Cheap Rates is the name of all Jewish podcasts. There's a fucking 1,000 of them.
Oh my god! Hey, we got
welcome
we have,
welcome to the Cheap Rates podcast. I'm Herschel
Yeah.
Schmiggy.
and I have a Hanukkah special coming up. Everybody, by the way,
But you have to
it's
subscribe
free.
first to my
No,
podcast.
It's free. It's free to subscribe. But if
We're
you
having
can
a
give a little,
discount.
give a
It's
little-
Cheap Rates. All right, getting back on here. So not only did it make Kristen Schall's career, it also made Eugene Merman the weird landlord's career because he's Gene on Bob's Burgers. So Kristen Schaal and
Eugene
Eugene Merman, two of the weirdest voice fucks in the world, both got huge paydays from being on Play the Conchords because now they're on Bob's Burgers as voiceover actors.
I
think
wasn't
the,
criticizing the
yeah.
show.
No, I'm not saying you were. I'm letting the world know that these people, it was a springboard to further
Yes.
success because this show was so, in my opinion, so fucking good.
I agree with Brian. I think it was a great show. I remember watching it for the first time as a person who could only afford 1/3 of an apartment rent. And I've got two other bros, and we're watching it on our DVR because that was how old it was. And we go, wow, this show is hilarious.
Hilarious.
And,
the first episode.
It was really good.
It comes
The
out
first episode-
swinging with
Amazing.
hilarious.
Let me
Hilarious.
set the stage. Hold on, let me set the stage. Hilarious. One of the funniest first episode pilots I've ever seen in my life. The premise of the show is these two bandmates from New Zealand move to New York to start a band, or they have a band, and they are trying to make it big in America. And they've got a manager named Murray, Reese Darbus, who's hilarious, or Darby, right? Reese Darby? That's his name. He's a redheaded goober you've seen in other films.
He
What We Do
actually
in the
got
Shadows.
a really big career out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I-
Well,
I
all
think
these
the
guys
biggest-
did.
The largest, though. I've seen Murray
No.
in more stuff than anything.
Now, Jermaine Clement has had a much bigger career than anybody else in the show. He's
All right.
But it's so they said the Play the Conchords, and they're this shitty band with goofy songs, and Murray, their manager, is completely incompetent. Murray, the manager, works at the New Zealand Department of Tourism. Rico, you want to add something? Because I know you'll have.
I thought you were going to say, I didn't know. He works at the embassy. I thought he was
Yeah.
like the embassy.
No, it's like the embassy arm of the,
It's such
the
a joke.
tourism.
They are like just like one of the subtle things that I find funny. So it's like you go into the shitty building where the embassy is, and it's like to the right, New Zealand embassy, to the left, Asian misogyny.
That and also in the office, they sit down for the band meeting with Murray, the manager, and you see a poster for New Zealand in the background, and it just says New Zealand. If you don't expect too much, you'll have a love. If you don't expect too much, you'll love it. And like it's a recurring theme of like these horrible posters they made about New Zealand.
Yeah, the New Zealand Rocks was when he had a poster of rocks.
Hey, Nikki Picone of the Iron Age Marketing Podcast, friend of ours.
On the Muppets
Brett-
movies. How about that?
Brett went on to win Grammys for songs on the Muppets movies, amongst others. Interesting. So Brett
Oh, thank you,
is
Mr.
writing
Pinecone.
songs more than acting.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Jermaine though is still an actor, but Jermaine was the voice of like Moana of the shiny crab, the giant crab. I wanna be shiny. One of the funniest and best songs in the movie, so he's still doing it. So
I've never seen that movie. Don't bring it up.
Moana, oh, it's great. It's my favorite Disney movie. It's actually
Well,
legitimately funny.
You're an
All right,
idiot.
so
Ah,
anyway,
of course.
Probably why.
The show's, yeah, like you said, Rico, it starts off fucking hilarious. Just in the opening scene, it's hilarious. Jermaine, who's like the bigger, kind of lower voice guy, and then Britt, who's like kind of a little mousy guy. They're both, quasi attractive. Brett's better looking. Jermaine's kind of goofy, but I don't know, I guess attractive. But he's like, oh, I want to get with these girls to party tonight. And he's like, yeah, you talk a lot about getting with
No.
hot girls.
His line was, I wrote it down because it's like the first line of the show. I think he's like, I used to hook up with a lot of chicks.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? I mean, I'm obviously just going to tell the whole story, but
Yes.
Brett's like, you did? Like, who? And he like names 3 girls and they all have the same last name.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's triple digits.
Well, then like he's dressed up too. He's like, oh, you talk about getting with a lot of girls. He's like, I do talk about getting with a lot of hot women. And he's like, he doesn't get with them, but he talks about it. He's like, I do talk about getting with a lot of hot women.
Oh yeah, this is
Right off the bat.
It's the
first
beginning of bro culture. This is a good time.
First minute of the show. And then the song, like,
They put their money
songs-
where their mouth is, though. They go for the chicks.
they do. Well, that's what's great. So they go to a party run by their buddy Dave. And this why the show, I swear to God, I'm not sure if it was shot in New York. I think it was shot overseas because Dave, their buddy who throws this party they go to, he's a huge comedian in Australia that's an American that went to Australia. The super hot chick that Jermaine hits on was also in Peep Show later on. And I swear to God, she's not based here. She's just a super hot blonde that's based overseas because she also was in Peep Show later on. So it's an interesting factoid. But the songs in this episode, the most beautiful girl in the room. So this show, they played the songs that they wrote during the episode and they act them out in real time. And one of the greatest
It's
songs
like
is
a
the most
dream
beautiful girl in the room.
montage. Their songs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's like, ooh, I look
the
across the room
stops
and I
it
see
goes into
you.
their music video.
Yeah,
Now,
but the lines of the songs are so funny. Like, you're the most beautiful girl in the room. And then he's singing to her. He's like dancing. He's like, I do my dance moves. He hits on this blonde. He gets her back to his place. He's talking about taking her in a taxi, buying her a kebab. And then my favorite line, he goes, you're so beautiful. You could be a high class prostitute. You're so beautiful. You could be a
You're so beautiful.
part-time model, but you probably still have to keep your normal job. Part-time model. And it's so,
the first
it's
one he
the
says, he
most
goes,
brilliantly hilarious songs.
"You're so beautiful. You could be a waitress.
Yeah.
You're so beautiful.
Like a tree.
You could be an air hostess in the 60s."
I mean,
When he
the
goes, when he
references
goes
are
air
so-
hostess in the 60s, that's hilarious. That's when everybody that was adorable was an air hostess.
Right?
And you want to go,
There-
yeah, you want to go back. And you're like, yeah, that's a good time. She was adorable. And then he goes, depending on the street.
Oh yeah,
Walking
you're
on
the
the
most beautiful girl on the
street,
street,
depending on the
depending on the street.
Yeah, you could be the most beautiful girl on the street. Depending on the street. You could be a part-time model.
But you probably still have to keep your normal
Keep your
job.
regular job. Yeah. Right?
So,
This thing came at people in the early 2000s. Nobody knew what to do. We didn't have Facebook or anything.
oh,
And this is just, you're like, HBO has a show. This is good. This is good stuff.
that was amazing. It was like
It's
it
still
was the
good.
height of
It's still
HBO's
good.
power of like
Yeah.
picking the greatest shows,
Exactly.
that-
you had to pay 15 extra bucks a month
and it was worth it.
plus your cable to have that premium service.
Yeah.
And it was
But
worth it.
Yep, and it was
Now I
worth
get it for free as part of my phone bill, and I get the franchise. So
Oh,
you pay for
I
it.
know. Do we
man.
win? Are we winning or losing?
I think we're losing because you get it for
Losing.
free, but they're not making anything anymore.
And they charge you way
That was
more.
my
They make you
point,
pay
Tom.
for your
Thank you
fucking
for
phone now instead of just
Spelling it
giving it
out
to you.
for everyone.
Well, I'm here for the dullards of the hour, if you will. Or if
All
we
right,
call
so moving on, Jermaine gets this hot chick from Dave's party back to his place, and it's funny because they're just about to make out, and then Brett, because they have a small apartment, Brett turns on the light. And he's like, "Oh, hey guys," and then it's like, "What the fuck?" He's just sitting there. He's like, "Oh, he's like, Brett, can you turn the light off?" He's like, oh, "Okay." He turns the light off, and then turns the light on, and it's an awkward thing. The chick leaves. And you find out that, oh, Brett's actually dated this chick before. But of course, Jermaine, and this is like the height, this shows it really perfected the awkward, stupid comedy. Like a dry, idiotic, but subversively brilliant comedy of Jermaine then being upset with Brett not because he's dating Brett's ex. That wasn't why she left. It was because he turned the light on. And
Oh yeah, they had a whole scene like the next morning, like why he didn't get with her. He's like, well, Jermaine, right? Jermaine's like, it's mostly because you turned on the lamp, and mostly because you didn't have you were awkward or whatever it was.
yeah, he's like, yeah, well, you don't think it's because I dated her? He's like, well, maybe, because you dated her, but I think also because because you turned the light, and you're like, oh. What's this light? You know?
Yeah.
so
Oh
stupid.
no, it's awkward. The light's on.
And also, Jermaine runs through why he's like, I did everything right. I brought her. Hey, hi, Lauren Young. She says, hey, y'all. He's like, I brought her back to my place. I did all the things right. I walked on the outside of her. I bought her a kebab. He's like, I split the taxi. He's like, should I have paid for the whole taxi? Yes. By the way, obviously, if you're trying to bring a girl back to your place to bang, you pay for the fucking taxi. You don't split the taxi.
If you're gonna bang, you don't even go to get the kebab. You just go, I got some kebabs at home. You just put
Yeah, I got meat on a stick.
That's right.
Wasn't there something ridiculous he said as part of like his move set?
I walked on the outside of her.
Yeah,
it was something just so absurd.
Because did you walk on the outside of it? Yeah.
Yeah, they really harped on walking on the outside of her. Britt's like, I don't know what else to tell you. You walked on the outside of her?
Yeah. Chicks don't walk anymore, so it's not a thing to like make sure that they're not on the outside. Because that's exactly what apparently when you were a pimp, if you were pimping the hoe, she'd be on the outside of you. So
Really? Good
Yeah,
knowledge. Where did you learn that?
back in the days when I was a pimp, so I used to know. Yeah, if I was walking a hoe and she was facing the street side, That's how every customer knew, oh, Ho is ready for business.
That's an easy way to punish a hoe too, because you could just hip check her into the street and a car would hit her.
Oh yeah. We're not supposed
That's
to
also
say that.
taking money out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if she's already stealing money? There's a lot of wrinkles to hoeing in the big.
You know, that's
not
the thing.
easy.
Well, and every pimp's gonna take his approach different way. You know, the hoe might have stole a lot of money. She might have stole a little bit of money. You maybe want to hip check. Maybe you want to break her hip. You know, it's just it's a pimp life. You can't really quantify it in one way or another.
A broken hip doesn't mean you can't get fucked. Just saying.
Well, there's a lot of things that you got a mouth, you got two hands. I mean, we can still make some money.
All right. Well, I'm in.
What is what a pimp would say. Not
Count me in.
I'm
Pimp me out, man. I need the cash. It's Christmas time.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Let me show you. Show me them hands. No, I'm just
First
kidding.
episode Pimpcast. I like it. You know what? We should do that. We should rebrand again. First episode Pimpcast. Just advice on pimping, but from people that have never done it before. I think it'd be an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
We'll also review
a lot of people will die.
Seems like it's not against the law.
Officers, we've never pimped. We're just giving advice on how we would do it if I did it, like the OJ story.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
All right, so wait, going forward, Jermaine,
you missed the most iconic scenes. It's like a recurring
I was gonna go back. Go ahead, talk about it.
Right. Well, it's when they have their band meetings at the consulate.
Oh, it's amazing.
And Murray always takes it.
The roll call.
I love it. For the three people that are there.
Yeah.
Who doesn't
If
say
anybody,
they're present? Like Brett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you didn't say you're present.
Present.
It is good. There's nothing
like,
we
I
can
booked you.
tell.
I thought I booked you a gig. Turns out there's sand. They were looking for sand.
Yeah, not a band.
Sand. But I sent them the demo. They liked it. They might play it in the lobby.
Liked it.
And he's like, anybody else has any ideas?
It's just the
Worst manager
ever. If anybody thinks they watch that show and then thinks that this podcast is similar to that meeting that they're having as the band,
absolutely.
The answer is 100% exactly.
We start
what's going on.
Pretty much. We should take roll call.
Right. That's how much preparation we put into this show and what goes into our meetings. So that's why I think we love the show so much. Exactly. It's the best.
So, all right. So going a little bit forward. So Jermaine and Hot Blonde go on a couple dates. Brett's kind of getting pissed off because he's not getting to hang out with his buddy. And it culminates in kind of a funny moment where Brett's got something on the calendar for the week that he's working on. And Jermaine wants the apartment solo. Can't get it because Brett's working on his secret project, which is a helmet that looks exactly like Brett's own hair. And he needs Jermaine's help to make it. And he wants him to move it, but to Brett's point, there's nothing else. It's been on the calendar. It's hair helmet day. And
there's nothing else on the calendar. The calendar is empty.
Rico, you're muted.
I know. I was talking to Jordan about this
hair helmet.
Unrelated.
Yeah. His unrelated hair helmet. I'm supposed to believe it's unrelated. What a fucking coincidence. Your son happens to be making a hair helmet bike hat.
It was on the calendar. You can look.
Yeah, we gotta know. Respect the calendar.
I'll show you.
So anyway, Jermaine starts to get a little butthurt, but it doesn't matter because the blonde breaks up with Jermaine. And that leads to, again, one of the funniest songs. So if you guys are listening to this and haven't heard Play the Conchords, look up The Most Beautiful Girl on the Street. I think the song is called.
The Most Beautiful Girl in the World.
Most Beautiful Girl in the World. Amazing song. You could listen to it on Apple Music or whatever, Spotify. Then another hilarious song. Two of the best songs. Actually, three of the best songs. They also have the Humans Are Dead, where they pretend to be robots for a music video where they're just in cardboard boxes. Oddly enough, a hilarious part of the episode, but one of the less funny parts, which will be the funniest part of many other shows, but we're glancing over it.
What's that?
The humans are dead.
Yeah.
The humans are dead. That's all right.
Yeah, that was Murray
Again,
dressing
the
them
least funny part of a show, but it would be the funniest part of lesser shows.
Well,
Well,
yes.
that was one thing we never discussed. Is that the thing about the show is that they go into song in the middle of
We
the
discussed
show.
it. You weren't paying attention.
Where were you?
Where do you go,
Somebody
Don?
said this.
Where do you go? Yeah, we went over it. And they go into like music videos or
Where
dream
does Don
montages. Yeah. So I'm about to talk about another dream montage where Jermaine gets dumped and she's like, I don't know. I think I really wanted to date an Australian. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
And
they're
he's New Zealand.
disappointed.
He did have the best line though. He was like, "Yeah, it was hard work trying to stay together when she was trying to break up all the time."
I think there's an even better line where she's like, I think we should take a break. And he's just like, yeah, well, there's no relationship. He's like, no, but I figured we could start with a break.
Yeah, we'll start with the break.
So she dumps him. And it goes to this song called I'm Not Crying. And Jermaine's like, I'm not crying. You know, the tears on my face. But it goes to, it's like, I'm not crying. My favorite
That's
line.
a great song.
It's so good. I'll just sing the one line. He goes, I'm
It's
not
been
crying.
raining.
I've just been cut. Oh, yeah, it's been raining on my face. And he goes, I'm not crying. I've just been cutting onions. I'm making a lasagna. One. I'm not crying. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's
It's
the
so
first.
goddamn funny. The lyrics
first
of the songs
music-
are so fucking
Yeah.
brilliantly funny.
The first music video that they weave into there, and it's just the two faces.
Let me
and
see if
they're
I can just
crying.
find. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
Play of the. I mean, who cares? Nobody watches our. Play the Conchords. I'm not crying. I'm just gonna play it.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, I'm just gonna play it because who cares? Who gives a shit? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody watches or listens. So we're gonna do this for us. It's all for you, Damien. It's all for you. Let's just play it. So people live watching can experience this. You got to watch Play the Conchords. And also subscribe to the podcast, please. I beg of
Yeah,
you.
we do this for you.
Do this.
I'm not crying.
Can you hear it?
I'm
Yes.
not crying. It's just been raining on my face. And if you think you see some tear tracks down my cheeks, please, please, don't tell my mates
Now here's Brett.
I'm not crying. No, I'm not crying. And if I am crying, it's not because of you. It's because I'm thinking about a friend of mine you don't know who is dying. That's right, dying. These aren't tears of sadness because you're leaving me. I've just been cutting onions. I'm making a lasagna. For one. I'm not crying. No. There's just a little bit of dust in my eye. That's from the path that you made when you said your goodbye. I'm not weeping cause you won't be here to hold my hand. For your information, there's an inflammation in my tear gland. I'm not upset because you left me this way.
Brilliant.
My eyes are just a little sweaty today. They've been looking around.
That's enough. I said just a
Genius,
little sweaty
genius. They're
So
they're in a shower, 2 cameras, singing together, and they're filming it and cutting it. It's just brilliant. It's just the way they've done it is perfection.
It's
Those two.
amazing.
This is why this show is so good, and that's why HBO bought it, because it was good and it's hilarious. Everybody should watch it. It's really,
Yes.
really, it's
It was
funny.
a brief comet traversing the sky of entertainment.
Yeah.
And it just kept getting
Long
better
time-
and
from
better
a long
and
time
funnier.
ago.
It hit its zenith. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 seasons.
I think
They
it was
started
only
running
2.
out of good songs towards the end of maybe season 3, but it was still just the writing on it was hilarious.
It's good. I remember walking. I think I was at like a Target or a Best Buy, and I saw the album for sale in the CD section, and I bought it. And it was like a foldy CD with a poster inside. And somewhere in this ridiculous place that I live, there might be a CD still. I don't know. There's too much shit here.
Well, there's just like even beyond like the songs. That's I say that's when it started to fall off because the writing was so good, but the songs tied it together and they were so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, God, the songs coming up: Hip Hopopotamus, the ATM song, Business Time. God,
I don't know if this
Time,
is
the hilarious song.
Yeah, if this has been already established, but I don't know if the songs came first and then they made episodes for them or the opposite.
No, the songs came first. Yeah, they were a big act with the songs. Then they wrote the show around the songs. That's why it started to fall off because once the show it's kind of like Game of Thrones. Once the show got beyond the source material, it started to fall off.
Yeah, you can't just make songs. The songs don't exist.
Yeah, and as funny as the show was, you still had the songs as a linchpin. But yeah, guys, definitely watch the show. A+ for me, one of my favorite shows ever made in the history
Game of Thrones
television.
Is a good way to put it, where it just took over from the creative person who made it to where they needed to just fill episodes, and it just went to shit.
Yeah,
I kind of disagree with that, but that's another discussion.
Oh, okay. We'll have to do a whole Game of Thrones one.
Game of Thrones is shit, Rico, and you're a moron if you don't think so.
I liked the last season.
Well, join us next time at the first episode podcast where we have a different co-host. What are you gonna play the Conchords, Rico?
An A.
Oh yeah, A all the way.
Not an A+.
That was an A. I'll give it an A.
All right, fair enough. What was your favorite song in the episode?
Me? The Not Crying.
Oh,
that's
most
a good
beautiful
one.
girl in the room. For me, it's the most beautiful girl in the room, but they're all good.
I celebrate their entire catalog.
Really yeah, there you go. Right. I thought it was amazing that we got two #1 hits. You got Beautiful Girl in the Room, and then also The Humans Are Dead, The Robots, which are those are two great
I
songs,
poked one. So. It was dead.
Yeah.
So funny.
Come on, human, lick my battery.
Robo boogie.
Yeah. I mean, that shows it. That's an A+. If you can give a show, a good show. I mean, it's a great show. A show that was made by people that weren't, they didn't have a bunch of money, right? It wasn't like a show made by NBC or anything like that. It was a show made by people that had some really good creative songs, and then they took that amazing songs that they had and then made a really good show with it. It's
a really big show.
A really big show. Pretty impressive. I don't know. A+. It's awesome. It's awesome.
All right, Don, if you were gonna write a song yourself about your own life like this show, what would it be called?
Robo Boogie.
It was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!